And welcome everyone. We are finally live for our second week of Meta High School 2 Rocket League, and it is going to be an exciting week. Earlier today, we had a inter-school tournament, also hosted by Meta, and that will also, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the teams that just played in today's tournament probably play in the tournament later today. And I've had a fantastic time casting Rocket League, and I'm excited to see some more. Today, in our first game, as we run in, we're going to see Blackfriars Priory School versus Reynella East College, with the Hounds on the blue side and the Small Angry Ducks on the orange side. And I'll have Gex joining me today once again. How you going, Gex?
Yeah, good. I guess it's not even a second day, is it? Quicksand. We are still here, still going, and we're going strong too because we got a great game out of the gates again.
Really excited to get things going. We've seen Small Angry Ducks play before, and it's been a really fun watch. I remember I kept mixing up with Small Angry Chickens, going back and forth, and I feel like after watching Rocket League all day, I'm kind of like I'm in the position to
the sky is falling.
I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to watch more Rocket League. Like after I finished watching all that Rocket League, we had like a bit of a break in between now and back then. Dude, I played so much Rocket League. Seeing all these guys have a really good time playing Rocket League inspired me. And yeah, so now after playing more Rocket League and losing really badly, I'm excited to see people win again.
It happens. It happens. But you'll get on the grind. You'll find that niche in your rank, and you'll send it to the moon, I believe. But this is gonna be really awesome because we have seen Small Angry Ducks before, and I'm keen to see the big Angry Ducks. I wanna see just how big they are. I'm imagining like towering giants of ducks, like skyscraper ducks.
Yeah, I
glowing eyes.
But they are up against the Hounds today. The Small Angry Ducks up against the Hounds. I think the question of the day for me is not who's going to win, but it's a battle between the Small Angry Ducks and the Hounds. I wonder which one wins. In general, like if I took you out into nature, a Hound or a Small Angry Duck, Gex, what's your money on?
I think I'd probably befriend the Hound. I think the Hound and I are getting along. I'm gonna chuck a collar on it and give it a name tag. But the Angry Duck, no, that's scary. That's terrifying stuff. That's the stuff of nightmares.
They come and like snap your fingers and stuff. You ever tried feeding a duck or a bird before?
Try sleeping like that, man. It's insane.
Now, while we're waiting for people we're still waiting for some of the teams to load into our bracket. What's that time-old question that everyone asks? Is it 100 horse-sized chickens or 100 chicken-sized horses? Or maybe it's like, yeah. But what do you think you would go for?
I don't feel like 100 chicken-sized horses would actually be all that scary. That'd just be kind of cute.
I don't know about that one, man.
I already find chickens like a little unsettling. They're just skittish, you know. They never sit still. You can't trust them. They've got seedy little eyes darting around. Can you imagine that at the size of a horse? It'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
The males have spurs. They would kill you.
Maybe all these scary animals, like horses, they'll chomp your fingers off. They'll like kick you, but maybe they're only scary because they're big. Like, once you loosen them down a little bit, make them nice and small, not so scary anymore.
Yeah. 100 of them can still overwhelm you, but I don't think there's much they'd do to you. You'd just be kind of like, this is funny. Kind of cute.
Oh, yeah. Like, it might hurt a little bit, like little pokes on your leg.
Imagine being able to keep them inside, though. Like, you wouldn't need a very big yard for a chicken-sized horse.
Yeah, but what are you going to use a chicken-sized horse for, man? Ride it? I don't think that's happening.
No, we're not farming horses.
Quite limiting. It might be cool to have chicken-sized horses, but they won't really do anything. On the other side, imagine eating an egg from a horse-sized chicken. Okay. And
looks like while we are getting into a lobby. Nope, it is still empty. So we're going to be looking at a full remake. Going to have to tell the players that whatever lobby they're in, get out. Come on, round them up. Those chicken-sized horses are going to come in handy right about now. 100 of them just to round these kids up. bring him back. But we are gonna have to get the tiny little cowboys to ride him with their lassos as well. If that's gonna work.
Make sure
Time
we
to
pull
see
everyone
him,
in
night at the museum.
for a wonderful night of Rocket League, which has got me really excited. And we've had so many games. We've had so many games going on in the last week that so many schools play against each other. It's really fun to watch. We mentioned earlier in our interview. So for those of you who are unaware, I did mention it just as we started up, but earlier today, me and Gex did cast another high school meta hosted tournament. It was an inter-school tournament, kind of like how people play soccer inter-school. It's kind of like that for some of the students, which I thought was fantastic. And a lot of them were very passionate on succeeding and trying. They were talking about. We did an interview with them in the end. They were talking about making it to the like top leagues, into the RLCS, all of it, bro. And it's really fun to see this kind of opportunity be put out for students, which I'm thinking of once again as we see in the Meta High School tournament.
Same password. There we go. Okay, well we've got a new lobby up. Let's see if they can get into this one. We had the exact same issue actually in our tournament, the first match in our tournament earlier in the day. Just two identical lobbies making each other completely unjoinable. It's a really annoying problem to actually exist. I feel like if you make a match that already exists with the exact same details, it should just tell you can't do it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It should tell you that. Apparently not.
Oh well, that is just the way things are sometimes when we're
I'll have a
setting up a
word to
rugby match.
Psyonix about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell them off.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Let's see what they do. I send them I'll send them a text. Don't worry, man. I'll talk to them for you, bro. I know a guy.
You know a guy who knows a guy. You know
Mm-hmm.
a guy whose
Just a
dad
little bit.
is the head of Psyonix. That's
Yeah. He gives me free. What are they called? The Rocket League points.
or at least that's what he claimed. He was like, "Stop beating me, or I'll ban you, or my dad will ban you." He's the head of Psyonix. That's what I told it just the other day. So
Gex was bullying me. We did a 1v1, and he thought just because he's Grand Champ, he was better than me. Gex is actually on an
Aw.
alternate account right now because I banned him.
Yeah. He banned me.
What's it like being Grand Champ, Gex? Just people who look up to you.
I'm not Grand Champ yet. I'm a
You're
few
almost
wins
there. You've
away.
been Grand Champ before, okay?
Yeah. So I've beaten Grand Champ many times, but it doesn't make me one. A giant can fall. It's about all I've got.
Mm-hmm. And we are still continuing to have some technical issues with the players joining. I think we might jump to a break here just because we're unsure how things are going, and it's going to be easier to communicate with the players. So we're going to take a breather here. Everyone sit tight. We'll see you as soon as we load back into the games as we have the opportunity. So we'll jump to a break now. Okay. Hello, everyone. We had to jump back in. Unfortunately, Gex did have to leave us earlier than expected, so we are loading in despite all the technical difficulties completely being resolved. We are finally going to be able to load into the game, and it is going to be the Hounds versus the Small Angry Ducks today. I apologize if there is a minor noise in the background. That will be resolved in a moment. And it'll just be me and you guys and the Rocket League that we are about to watch. Now, look, this is how it's going to go. It's either the Small Angry Chickens are going to try and stand up to the Hounds, and I don't know who's going to be able to stand up. We have Chicken Man unable to block the goal straight from Wade Dio, who is going to open the entire series of the night with a beautiful little goal here, flicked in. Nice little aerial, knocked in the top right corner. Difficult to block. Wonderful little finish to get us right off started. We look straight into kickoff once again. Wade Dio going to keep possession of the ball. Jungling around right outside the box. And there's a lot of pressure coming from the blue side. On the blue side is going to be the Hounds, by the way. On the blue side, there's a lot of pressure. They've been holding the ball in their opponent's half for quite a long time now. Despite the opponents constantly trying to clear, Wade Dio putting on the pressure, and only when they realize that they can't keep possession of the ball, they're going to have to turn around. Don't get the first ball off the bounce, and Wade Dio finally regains possession, exactly what he was looking for, and it bounces, centers it right there. Oh! Unfortunately, it does not get knocked in by 420, but Hutto is going to roll in and finish this one up. Wonderful little goal here, some team play, and wonderful capitalization of team play. Congratulations, Hutto, bringing the Hounds up to 2-0. Unfortunately, my co-caster Gex, as I mentioned before, did have to leave early. He has some commitments that he was hoping to get out of the way soon, but he will be returning. Don't worry. It's just going to be me and everyone else for a while. I'm going to have a conversation with myself. Now, it's going to be Wade Dio, once again, controlling the ball. Lovely little dribble, and he's going to try and bounce it off the side netting. Drops it down for his teammates. 420 completely misses the jump on the ball. Now, it's time for Small Angry Ducks to try and make a change here. A demo, and Small Angry Ducks has been really, really pressured this game. They haven't been able to make any major offensive plays, and it is not looking good for them. Finally, we see Chicken Man here running up the ball. A bit of a double commit here coming from Beasing, and a demo as well. Absolutely shutting down the run. Wade Dio with a completely open net. He bounces it off the crossbar. Unfortunately, it's not going in, but he does deny Chicken Man any further pushes. Now, we've seen Small Angry Ducks play earlier before, and they were a strong side. They played well against our opponent. They showed a lot of control and technical ability, and something that I was seeing a lot earlier today. And some of the high school players that I was watching were incredible. We had a lot of people in champ. We had a lot of people with brilliant control over the ball, brilliant aerialing, brilliant dribbling. It was really good fun to watch, and how the teams played against each other, especially throughout the entire day. But I think the thing that really stood out to me the most is how some of the teams at this level succeeded very well. I know if at first it sounds like it comes quite basically, you know, spreading out, having good positioning, sitting in the right spots where you want to be. But something that came even more was, rather than constantly clearing the ball, which we will see some people do, and unfortunately, Small Angry Ducks is suffering from this one right now, and a nice little pass in here come from Wade Dio to give his teammate Hutto his second goal of the night. Beautiful roll off the backboard right in front of the goal. Doesn't get blocked by Chicken Man and flies straight in for a 3-0 lead for the Hounds. Now, what I was saying was, it seems to really come down to how people clear the ball. As I was saying, Small Angry Ducks is really just knocking the ball out of the way, trying to get it out of the danger zone. But Wade Dio really looking like the danger man tonight. Every time Wade Dio gets his hands on the ball, he does have some brilliant control over it. He can dribble, he's aerialing, he's dropping it down everywhere. And in this high school tournament where people are still learning, improving, and we may not have some players who are established in the game as others, then it can cause a lot of issues, because I mean, I was playing with a Grand Champ earlier today who was teaching me some new tricks, and in a 1v1, he was just air dribbling me all over the place. Flip, reset, rainbow dash. I don't know, man. He started doing like freestyle backstroke or something. Like, there are so many tricks that players who are at an extremely high level will be able to have. The mechanical advantage that they have is just very, very difficult to try and combat. Despite what me and Gex mentioned earlier in stream, and I think we mentioned it last week, was you can make it to Grand Champ purely off game sense and consistency. There is a YouTuber who has proven it and done it, where he played mostly on the ground the entire time. He didn't use any aerials, any flip resets, any like flying dribbles, any aerial dribbles. It was pretty much just sitting down and staying on the floor using his game sense. And he managed to make it to Grand Champ just from that. Which, and as our timer also ticks down, they look for their goal to try and finish it up. And Hounds is going to be the one to take the first series for today. Sorry, not the first series, the first game of the day. Dio with a wonderful performance here. A lot of passes, a lot of the danger man, and his two teammates doing a really good job to assist him. Really well played. Despite Hutto being on extremely high ping, we've had a bit of fluctuation there. Rocking it up to about 200. And we're about to walk into the next game. Hounds, with a very dominant performance, and Small Angry Ducks, as I was mentioning, are clearing up the ball very, very quickly, but without much control, which is knocking it straight back to the Hounds to allow them to hold onto it very tightly, which is making it quite hard for them to attempt to come back. As we wait to load into our next game, we got a minute to sit, talk, and I think that the idea that you can make it to Grand Champ just off your game sense is a very interesting concept. That means the people you're playing against aren't beating you because of their mechanics, which I think in some sense they do. It's that they're beating you because their game sense is which some of the time is because it's higher, they're more consistent. And I think that's quite encouraging to a lot of players, because there's two main aspects of the game, your micro and your macro. Which your micro is going to be your insane mechanics that you're throwing around, and your macro is going to be your ability to decide what to do, your game sense. A lot of people neglect game sense. Yeah, that's a message in Twitch chat just then, and I think as we load into our second game as well, we will jump right in, and it looks like Hounds are looking thirsty after their last performance, and they are getting ready to look for another first blood to open up the series. And this time, Chicken Man is not going to take it sitting down. They are holding onto the ball a lot tighter here. This time, Dio once again with a nice little bounce off the top of the roof. He's going to have to lose control of the ball. Handing it over to Hutto. Chicken Man bouncing it off the wall, trying to hold onto it again. This time, a big overcommit coming from Small Angry Ducks, means they all bounce away from the ball and don't get to pick it up. But 420 comes in with a nice little demo and leaving the goal wide open for Dio. Oh, sorry, Dio with the assist and 420 to come and clean it up. Wow. Nice little demo, and they just completely spread apart the team. Very difficult to block. Very difficult to stand up against. And now, once again, Hounds have taken their lead. Small Angry Ducks really looking for an answer here as well. They're going to hold onto the ball, take their time. But 420 just absolutely coming in, aerialing it. Man, words are hard. And taking possession of the ball. Small Angry Ducks is having a hard time holding the ball, or the better word would be that Hounds is having a really good time taking control of the ball, and it's working so well for them. All their shots, their deflections are all on target. Dio with a nice little shot into an open net, bringing the Hounds once again to that 2-0 scoreline. They may be looking for more this game, getting more confident, and a lot of aggression coming from the Small Angry Ducks. Not surprising, hearing their name. Another demo. Very aggressive game going on tonight. I was talking to... Oh! Almost an amazing edge will come from Chicken Man to drop into the top right corner, but Hutto is going to block it and fire it straight into another net. This time VSync is there to be able to get it with a nice little epic save there, facing up with Dio all alone as a net. It's a lot of back and forth with a single last man sitting in net. Dio taking the ball slow, tries to get the chip over VSync, but it doesn't work, leaving 420 alone in goal with a nice little save there. And I was talking with Gex earlier today when we were talking about demolitions and how people like to play aggressively in games using physicality. And it's really fun to watch when people use physicality effectively in a game. In like Rocket League, where I think a lot of the time, lower elo players, they think that physicality is just demolishing someone or giving a couple bumps. When I saw earlier today, and I'd like to see some more tonight, is physicality is using your car to be able to push against your opponent, be able to assert, I know that sounds ridiculous, but to assert dominance over your opponent, to be able, when you have the ball, to be able to come out on top, slow them down. There's a lot of really interesting uses of physicality in higher ranked play and in like professional play, with Dio knocking the ball in from the side, and unfortunately we do have an own goal here. After coming up the side of the bend, it does come down with an attempt to save the ball that was potentially rolling in, and that is going to leave the Hounds at 3-0 with a nice little lead here. It's going to be very hard to come back from now. 2 minutes 30 left on the clock, ticking down. It's like slide tackling and breaking someone's leg in soccer. Pretty much, that's what demos are. I was playing Rocket League earlier today, and sometimes I'm just, like, whenever I play with my friends, I'm just sitting there in the goals waiting to defend a shot, and someone, the ball's on the other side of the pitch, and it looks like 420 once again. The ball was bouncing around everywhere in the box. It was going to be very difficult for them to score here, but it looks like the ball was not cleared hard enough or in time by anyone from Small Angry Ducks, and it is going to lead to a 4-0 lead here. Like, I'm sitting in goals, the ball is on the other side of the map, and I just see a car driving straight towards me for no reason. Full boost. Hey! And it just demos me, and then the ball rolls in because there's no goal. Like, but yes, demoing, physicality is different. You see in a lot of sports, people, you know, they can get a bit rough, bump people out of the way, and it's fun to watch. But when you're just running at people and demoing, then yes. But if that's an aspect in Rocket League, then people will be able to play it. That it is going to be a best of 5 tonight. We did have a best of 3 last week, but we've decided to adjust the tournament format. I'm going to leave it as a best of 5 for now, giving teams more opportunities to come back, to survive, to be able to show their stuff. And I think I agree with it, especially in Rocket League, because the matches are so short. Sometimes teams don't have the ability to adapt and get good enough to understand the other team. As we saw today, a lot of the matches we streamed and casted were pretty big wipeouts. There was a lot of control. Oh, a nice little deflection off the side of the board. Give it to Dio, who's going to try and roll the ball down off the top of the backboard. And 420 looks with the aerial. Could not be deflected by anyone from Small Angry Ducks, and is going to knock it in for number 5. And that is going to be a nice little hat trick here for 420. Exactly what they're looking for. Now, as I was saying, I think a best of 5, especially in a game like Rocket League, really leaves a lot more room for the ability to adapt and evolve against your opponent. As we were casting some of the games earlier today, oh, a nice little shot here from halfway down the pitch for VSync to be able to just fire it down the line. Left it completely open, and a very reasonable shot right into the bottom right corner. No one could clean it up. Nice little celebration there, spreading the love all around. Now, we saw a lot of wipeouts in the tournament we casted earlier today. There were a lot of people who 3-0'd when they were going in their best of 5s, but in the rare case where a game went longer, we saw a couple cases, or even in just competitive play, where a team is getting absolutely demolished in a best of 5, and they have that time to learn and adapt against another team. It's pretty crazy how much teams can evolve in the span of a couple matches, because they start to understand how other teams play. And we have 1 second left on the clock. Ball looking to touch the ground, and it looks like the Hounds are going to come in and take the second game of the series, bringing them to series point. Doing really well. And the Hounds are looking quite dominant so far. They have taken both games. This is the first game they conceded a goal, and it was just one. The Hounds probably feeling quite successful right now, but Small Angry Ducks, again, even in with a best of 5, right? Let's say this was a best of 3, okay? The Small Angry Ducks would be completely eliminated. No opportunity to attempt to improve their play. No ability to try and, in any case, try to adapt to the other team. But now that we have another game on the line, Small Angry Ducks has the time to sit back, to... Apologies if you hear my brother laughing in the background. They had the time to sit down and try to adapt to their opponents, and we see that a lot of the time in higher level play, where a team may be losing, and they lose the first 2 games of a best of 5, but somehow they miraculously turn it around into a 2-3 win. And so these games are incredible to watch. That's why best of 5s, especially for a game like Rocket League, and especially in a league like this, where a lot of the players are still learning how to play the game, while some of the players may have had more play time, have had more experience. This is going to give them a good opportunity to learn how to adapt to higher level players. Because I think in any sport, even in video game, maybe not every video game, but in a lot of sports and some video games, playing against an extremely high-ranked opponent, or even it gives you the opportunity to learn from one. They only play 1 game a week as well. Yeah, that is true. Playing 1 game a week, it's nice to get a best of 5, and we are going to head into the 3rd game that these people will be playing this week. And it is going to be, again, series point on the side of the Hounds. They are just waiting to be able to get this opportunity. And it looks like we don't have to wait long. It is now a 1-0 lead, straight into the hands of the Hounds. Unfortunate miss here coming from Chicken Man, and the Hounds once again in the lead. Hounds with a very, very dominant performance so far, and they will be holding on for longer. 420 has been a brilliant goal scorer at this point of the game. Being really on top of the ball, we've seen in the last match, and we've had a brilliant opener here in this match. Waydio still standing out as the danger man so far. Every time Waydio gets their hands on the ball, they're having brilliant dribbling, brilliant control. You just take a look here as well. Ball falls into Waydio's hands now. Turning around to try and get the defense with a nice little deflect, but instead of bashing it away, they control it with a nice little chip right over the players, and bang! Straight into the back of the net. Waydio with beautiful control of the ball and just displaying why I was talking about him like that. Brilliant play, giving the Hounds a nice little lead once again. A 2-goal lead is going to be very hard to come back. It's not impossible to come back from, but it does make it mentally harder as well. A 1-goal game is always the most exciting type of game to watch, but we have an open net here as well, with VSync giving a nice little assist to Chicken Man to be able to smack it back in, and as I was saying, leave it as a 1-goal game. 1-goal games are much harder to try and defend, much more pressuring on the mental state as well. When you realize that you're 1 goal away from overtiming, or the other team is 1 goal away from potentially putting you in overtime, and all the work that you put in to try and beat them, it just makes things so much harder on you mentally. There's so much of a mental aspect to a lot of these games that a huge amount of them can be affected by the player's performance, especially depending on how much, I know it sounds silly, but players play very differently based on their sleep, based on the stress they're experiencing during the game. Their momentum is a really crazy one as well. Right now, Hounds is rolling with all the momentum that they're on top of, because they've already won 2 games in a row with huge win margins, which is really good for them. And if they can capitalize on the momentum, that's all they need. A double bounce off the crossbar. Hounds cannot be happy about that, and it looks like it won't matter. Hutto finishing it off, giving them a 3-goal lead, and extending that buffer once again, feeling much more comfortable amongst all the chaos with a double crossbar bounce off and some popcorn scattering across the field to give us a nice little peek into how the Hounds like to play. Hounds once again looking deadly. There is still 3 minutes on the clock, and these guys are thirsty for more. They want to set up this buffer. They want to put on more pressure, and they want to be able to relax more while scoring more goals and not have to worry about being scored against. And the Hounds has a very offensive style of play, which is Oh, a nice little shot bouncing off the backboard as well. No one to follow it up, unfortunately, which means it is up to 420 to take it upon his own hat to send it to the other side for his team. Hutto here, once again on the ball. Wadio, no one can follow up. V-Sync and Chicken Man here. Barely misses the side of the goal and is going to fly over to the other side of the pitch. Hutto barely deflecting it, holding it onto his side, leaving it to 420 and Chicken Man to go for a 50-50. 420 is going to win this one, bring it around the curve. It drops with a killer ball in between both players. And knocking back to the blue side. Hounds here just waiting for time. They know that if they waste time, they win. They have enough of a buffer. They can sit back. They can relax. Wadio now bouncing the ball off the side net. He's going to look straight towards the goal and it's going to bounce off the bottom left post and fly in, giving Wadio and the rest of his team a very, very comfortable buffer to be able to sit back and watch on. This is what they're waiting for. This is what they want, and it is working out so well for them. The Hounds with a really dominant performance in the last couple of games, clearly having a bit more experience than some of the other players on Small Angry Ducks, but Small Angry Ducks has improved a lot. It feels closer. Small Angry Ducks is putting a lot more pressure, and I think Small Angry Ducks is learning a lot from this game as well as the Hounds. Wadio here with a lovely little air dribble. It is going to bounce off the backboard thanks to a save from V-Sync. They're going to try to roll it down off the backboard once again. Small Angry Ducks not going to be able to defend this one. The ball does drop, unfortunately, because 420 misses the aerial. Chicken Man here looking for a air dribble. Flying right over Wadio, but the ball does drop right in front of Hutto, giving him the opportunity to try and turn the play around. Wadio with a lovely little chip here, flying right into the top left of the net. Exactly what he was planning to do. Look at this lovely little chip here. A flick well aimed and a score well scored. It is now 5-1 in the hands of the Hounds, with the Small Angry Ducks sitting on 1. Wadio now all up the front by himself. 420 trying to back him up. And we are going to see Hutto here look for an aerial. Come down the sideboard with Wadio here, all alone. Does get blocked by V-Sync. There's a very aggressive, now confident playstyle here coming out from the Hounds. They know that they can score. They're still focusing a little bit on rotations despite doing so well, because they don't want to concede anymore. They're doing really well, and the offense that they're putting on is acting as defense for them. They only need to hold one man semi-back. While playing with this extreme aggression style, lets them put as much pressure on the opposing team as they want, and Small Angry Ducks is having a hard time defending against this offense, which means it's going to be very hard for them to try and turn it around. A lovely pass here to 420, but couldn't follow it up. The ball bounces off the left post, just sitting there with 8 seconds left on the clock, and it looks like we have our winners laid out for us. Hutto deflects the save. 2 seconds, 1, and the ball is about to take its final bounce as we see Blackfriars, Priory School. It's still up in the air. Finally taking its bounce, and we see Blackfriars, Priory School with the Hounds taking the win in this series. Congratulations. Very well played, very aggressive, and they must be very happy walking away with that victory. That game, and for the series so far, I'm going to have to give my MVP to Wadio. From what we've seen so far, he has just been fantastic. His ability to not only score goals, which he did get his own hat-trick this game, he also had the ability to assist his teammates. Very confident, very good at controlling the ball. So, wonderful MVP from Wadio there. I think he performed very well that game, and he absolutely deserves it. But at the same time, Chicken Man doing an absolutely wonderful job. Despite his team losing, I think there were a couple of shining moments from Chicken Man with some nice air dribbles, with some nice ball control. A really bright future for both these teams, and I hope they both continue to train. And it is only the second week of the meta tournament, meaning they have a lot of time to try to get back into this one. Once again, our MVP, as presented by MSI, and Torrens University, we do have Wadio. So wonderful game. It is only the second week. There's a lot of time for these teams to sit down, to train, to improve, as both teams should, to be able to crush all their opposition that they're looking for, and have a really good time playing Rocket League. Because who doesn't want to play Rocket League with their friends? And I think we are going to go take a breather here. So thank you for watching as we wait to move into our second game with our winners of the first series tonight, Blackfriars Priory School on the Hounds. Congratulations, and we will see you all in just a moment.